They've got pretty good lanes. They've got good team fight. They've got catch. They've got scalability, and they've got good heroes in the meta as well. Whereas for me, when I'm looking across at Limit, it's all on this Nyx assassin to do a really good job. And if Pango doesn't have a good start to his game either, then all their catch for these heroes that, again, if they get caught out, it's very scary for them, much like the Wind Ranger or Small KK, but they don't have that much lockdown to take out an Abaddon either. So it's going to have to be like perfect team fights and perfect initiations coming in from Limit. And whenever I see drafts where one team has to play on this bleeding edge of being really, really good, but also being really, really risky up against a team that can kind of just go about their business and do regular kind of stuff in Dota, I will always favor the team that just has a straightforward game to play.
Oh, speaking of straightforward, and that I just realized, and it only dawned on me now, we had an entire draft without Medusa being picked, banned, no influence whatsoever. She completely ignored.
Okay, so I think, we're already seeing it in this draft. China is trying to change the meta a little bit with some of their carry picks, with a lot of Abaddon, a lot of Arc Warden, and I don't think all too much Medusa. It's either first phase banned or completely untouched.
I'm going to be seeing a lot here. This used to be the region where if you wanted a carry player, China's where you found them.
Yep.
So maybe they're trying to get into that next level, move beyond the meta, set it yourself. We're going to be finding out, though, how this all shakes out in this particular game, as we are underway right now. Game 1 of Limit versus Team Disillusion. Pango versus Void Spirit. Let's see. I actually want to make a ranking system of how boring this mid lane is going to be, because God, mid sucks right now, dude.
Yeah, it's like a S tier boring. I think it's Pango shouldn't have too many issues, but also Void Spirit's not going to have too many issues. Like they will trade back and forth, and there could potentially be a small little outplay, but it's just going to be about getting towards those bottles, getting towards those power runes, and making rotation once level 6s get up. And I think the issue for me with this Pango, CXK.
CXK.
In a lot of trouble.
A lot of damage being taken on this Nyx Assassin, but should still be okay, though. Ranfudao doesn't have access to another spell just yet, so you're playing Nyx Assassin, one of the highest base regions in the entire game of Dota 2. If you have boots and the enemy support doesn't, you should be fine, but Arcane Curse is coming back off cooldown. Ranfudao thinking about it, but doesn't want to get you baited into the tier 1 tower, which CSK is definitely trying to get him to do.
Yeah, catch him underneath the tower with an impale, and then a few auto attacks from the tower, and it's kind of game over, which is a little rough. But so looking back to what I was saying before, we almost saw CSK to go down. Is the one issue that I have with the Pango this time around is he's going to have some big defensive item, and maybe that might force the supports to go for these early like Glimmer Capes or 4 stars to try and get away from the initiation. Like we talked about the Morphling having issue with the silencers. Same thing with the Pango, right? Like if he gets globaled and he doesn't have a good way of getting out of it, then you can always have the Earth Spirit roll in. You can always have the Wind Ranger come in with a shackle shot. So he's not going to be enabled to just play this diffusal Ags kind of hard carry build, because he needs to go for an early survivability item that gets him out of these silencers.
Speaking of silencers, the first one of the game is going to trigger in the top lane as they get the first blood on the Timbersaw. Lanfa happy to get his Abaddon off to a better start here. This is not what you want to see if you're on the side of Limit. Losing your Timbersaw to the enemy carry in the laning phase, no less. Not only does that give the Abaddon a much better start, make sure that the time in the game that the Timbersaw would normally be spending, posted up in front of towers, able to just force away the carry and then go defend his own tier 1 tower on the other side of the map, that portion of the game now certainly going to be abridged, if it even happens at all, with a slot like this.
Yeah, especially with the massive amount of levels that Lomfer has over the top of Timber, right? It's only level 2 on the Timbersaw, and Abaddon is also one of those heroes early on that if you get a lot of these early kills, it just accelerates you so fast. And obviously, as you said, with the new build with like the Blink Harpoon, you don't have the Radiance that sits back and farms for you, and you want to be a little bit more aggressive. So kills are exactly what the side of Team Disillusion really want in this game. They want to start to accelerate their cores with a lot of kills and snowballs super hard. And if that happens, this could be a pretty fast game 1, but obviously, Limit, they've got plenty of ways to try and mitigate that, with obviously Timbersaw going into the Vanguard and Morphling be a Morphling. But as I said at the start, they have to play really, really well this game for it to not kind of snowball out of control and look rough.
Speaking of said Morphling, we haven't spoken about the Water Boy, but I guess we have to. No other option at some point. How's he busy doing right now on the other side of the map? Decent amount of CS. Ironhead not really bothering him. Ironhead actually playing this Wind Ranger pure offlane in this situation. Gonna soon have, what are we building? We're going just straight power treads into the diffusal blade, I imagine. It's gonna make sure that the diffusal arrives even faster. I'm okay with this, I like this.
Oh, small KK. That's rough. Well, but Lonfo gets this, another kill in top, so I don't want to say that's a trade that you're willing to take, but, you know, for Lonfo's game specifically, they're definitely happy with that. Small KK is probably going to be one of the heroes that they will have a bigger ease of killing early on, especially because he doesn't have Dissimulate. So, you know, when a Nyx Assassin makes a rotation, when a Pugna makes a rotation, it's hard for you to get away if you don't have your mobility spell yet.
I'm very glad that something ended up happening in the mid lane, so my bad, y'all, for saying it was going to be extremely boring. We did have some action happening. Good moves onto small KK, top lane. Lunfer does end up falling fairly low, but he's still playing a pattern, so does still have some kind of safety net for himself with the 2 points into the Aphotic Shield. Should be perfectly okay in this lane.
Yeah, you should be okay, especially because you can purge off that Whirling Death. DXK, okay. Was there just in time? I also thought that we were going to see the Timber go for the early Vanguard, but he's going to go early levels in the, early items into a double bracer. He just wants to be that little bit tankier. The Vanguard's very good into the Abaddon, but doesn't help you against the Silencer. So he kind of just wants to have raw HP so he doesn't get ganked early on and keep losing his life. And that's kind of the point of the Timber. He wants to stick in this top lane for as much as possible and kind of slow down Lonfer as much as he can. And the only way he can do that is with raw HP until he starts getting these tankier items.
Down bottom are going to be having a chase onto our Pugna. They don't actually manage to find that kill. Aaron resisted the temptation to dive behind the tier 1 tower. I'm not sure how he resisted that, dude. Playing Earth Spirit here and not being like, boys, I've got roll, it's fine, I'll get out of danger. What a player. Patience from him to stay alive there. I guess he prioritized getting the bounty. It's just a Pugna kill, wouldn't change the needle all that much, so probably the right call at the end of the day.
Yeah, sometimes it's you get like the Earth Spirit syndrome, right? Where you're like, oh, I've got roll, I'm strong enough, I can do the damage, and then you get baited into it. There's a lot of heroes like that in Dota where you get the I can kill this person syndrome. It's like when you're playing these like tanky offlaners as well, I think a lot of people get baited into it when you're playing like a Venomancer or you're playing like a Timbersaw and you dive a tower and you're like, I'm unkillable.
Well, this Timbersaw is definitely not unkillable as he's about to end up taking another tumble. Silenced up, killed off. Chosen One showed up here looking for revenge, but he missed the first swashbuckle. Ranfudao should still end up dead though. He's being walked away slowly but surely by Chosen One and eventually does take a tumble. At the same time, it did end up losing Pugna though on the other side of the map. But they'll take it on the side of Team Disillusion. You get a Timber kill, you draw in Pugna, or there's a Pango. Unless they get this kill as well, it's not going to be worth it. But they're looking for him. He doesn't have level 6 just yet. Oh my god, 2 experience short. Give this man some experience. He gets off a young Mango. He's walking away. He's still alive somehow. Aaron bought him the space and the time that he needed with the rolling boulder. Somehow, some way here, Fluke. He survives with the skin of his teeth. Now he gets level 6. And they make sure that they can still play with this Abaddon. And maybe even Small KK gets something out of this as he was also drawn to the top lane on the Void Spirit. Unfortunately not though, has Chosen One takes advantage of the fact that Lanfred did not skill up the ultimate to kill off this Abaddon. And with Abaddon being dead, there's not enough damage to punish him. He's gonna get away scot-free.
Yeah, that was way too gritty from Lonfer. I could understand that if he had the borrowed time. You at least proc borrowed time and you go, all right, okay, I'm going to go take my time in the jungle. But he didn't skill it up and he got punished for it. So props to Chosen One being able to get that punish on Lonfer, who was so lucky to be able to get out of alive. And you can see that he's going for the Radiance build as well. So him surviving for as long as he did is very good. But Ranfudao trying to get a little bit of this extra vision down, gets punished once again. So I like that limit, even though some of their lanes are going a little rough, that they are punishing the over-aggression coming in here from Team Disillusion.
Yeah. Dude, if you're Aaron right now, who's going into the mid lane, wants to try and help out Small KK, who's trying to escape away from this Pangolier, will be able to Astral Step out. Aaron has been fairly good. Actually, had to chase off the Chosen One, who's gone deeper in off the small KK. The rolling boulder connects onto both him and Ranfudao. Will he actually die here? Lost word pops off. He does TP out just in time. That'll get him back to the base just by the skin of his teeth. However, it does mean that the push onto the tier 1 tower ends up being thwarted. Dude, I'd actually be so pissed if I was a support player this game. Like, on Radiant side, like, my Pango dives in. We can't push the middle now. We were 4 of us there because he nearly died. Top lane, 4 of us were there, but all of our time is wasted because Lanford didn't skill the ultimate. What a rough game to be a support, man.
Yeah, especially because they're making a lot of these rotations, and this is where you can see that Team Disillusion are abusing the fact there's a lack of stuns, that they can kind of play the way they have been.
Yeah. We're going to play a bit more aggressively down bottom with shackle shots out. They want the Pugner and they will be able to find him. However, the question is, does small KK escape? Waveform in, coming in from the small fling. Doesn't have any astral steps, doesn't have any dissimulates, but they don't have any stuns either, so they can't keep that chase going. Ranfudao will find himself being ran down by Chosen One. Swashbuckle will finish him off. So at least there'll be a kill over there. But overall, we are starting to see the lack of catch and how it's affecting these teams and their inability to chase down some of their bigger targets. But one of the targets that they can chase down is the Timbersaw, who really has been struggling this game. Ends up dying off. Lanford kills him. Small KK made the rotation. And here, Fluke, it's not even 10 minutes. It's already his 4th death on the Timber.
Yeah, Timber's having a rough one. This is not the start that you'd wanted, especially with the area that he was picked as well. He was pretty deep in the draft, but everything's on Chosen One's back right now. He's doing a really, really good job at just alleviating a bit of the pressure from his side lanes. They haven't lost A in the most recent couple of fights, so Chosen One's going to get himself towards that diffuser blade, and that's when these team fights are really going to start to look good for Limit, because they're going to have their Pangolier, who's a very strong, scary hero. And this is all, pre-Global Silence, all before these supports are getting a lot of levels on the side of Team Disillusion. That's when they become scary. And if you're able to abuse those first 10, 15 minutes, and maybe get some more objectives out of this, you're probably pretty happy for Limit.
Well, Limits are also going to be making their first big rotation on the map. A kill maybe might furnish them with the gold necessary to get close to finishing the defusal. Aaron, though, pops the smoke, rolls away. He did give Ironet a heads up, but this Wind Ranger, she's stuck around here, Fluke. She's going to try and run herself away with the Wind Run, but with this Rolling Thunder, they should be able to catch up. Waveform in, a couple of right clicks, and we have a dead Wind Ranger. Aaron, though, coming in, looking for revenge, but I don't know about this one, buddy. He's going to end up just getting killed off. What the hell is happening here, Fluke?
Well, Aeronid didn't pop his 2 healing lotuses. I understand trying to hold it for a greater healing lotus, but you may have survived. You just had Wind Run come off cooldown, you popped a healing lotus, it's 600 HP that you just get randomly, and then you run away, and then you waste the time of Chosen One. But maybe Aaron thought that there was going to be the healing lotuses being popped, and
Lanford. Oh my
not the way that
god.
worked.
Man, that new Vendetta, a lot of damage. Pops the borrow time. We'll still be fine, though. I'm mostly surprised, honestly, with that fight. Not just with Ion's decision to play around the healing notices the way he did. The decision to be there in the first place. I thought for sure the way after Aaron pops the smoke, that you're like, all right, boys, I'm out. Peace, I'm running away. But he finished off the wave first, and then he tried to retreat. Let that be a lesson to all my core players in chat. If your support has scouted out some heroes, don't finish that wave. It's not worth it. There will be other waves in the future.
It's kind of what I talked about a bit before, right? When you're playing these heroes that are elusive and hard to kill, you get into the syndrome.
Yeah. Top lane, though. Timber, yet again, being gone on. They don't have the Abaddon here, so there's no silence. But they still do have quite a bit of damage, and they should be able to kill him off. The Decrep, though, gonna buy some space and time. He's still so low on the HP, and finally will end up taking a tumble. However, he bought enough time for Chosen One to show up and mop up Ironed. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange with the offlaners. Aaron hiding in the trees. Hasn't been caught out just yet by the Chosen One. So it probably should be able to escape away from here.
Oh, they scanned up. They thought he went up. Oh, that's rough. So Aaron will be able to survive a little bit longer. The one thing that I've noticed early on here, I don't know if it's first game jitters or what have you, but global bottom, they're going to kill A.
They're going to be able to kill off A in the Morphling. The only thing they'll be able to get from this on the side of Team Limit is potentially Aaron's life in the top lane. They'll pick him up, but for the first global of the game, utilizing it to kill a Morphling, it literally does not get any better than that. He's very far away from having the Manta style, so fairly vulnerable at those point in time to do these kind of moves.
Yeah, and they're going in top as well. Chosen one.
CSK gonna find the Vendetta hit onto a Baron. They're gonna kill off the Lanfer yet again. Two heroes into the Impale. Unfortunately, there was no follow-up, but they just base in the Pango. He goes in with like no HP and he just dies off. Pangolier, what the hell was that, my friend? With him dying, the rest of the team has to leave. And what looked to be the best assassination in the entire world turns into a comedy of errors in the top lane, Fluke.
Yeah, he was still being focus fired. And
the courier? Oh my god, dude.
I was just about to touch on the fact that one glaring thing that I've noticed with some of the players today, I don't know if it's first series jitters, but a lot of the skill shots are missing. A lot of like swashbuckles, a lot of rolling boulders, kicks, a lot of power shots. They're all starting to miss. And it's kind of turned this game into this kind of mud wrestle where like neither team really kind of feels like they're in control. Everyone's still slipping over, but sometimes like you'll get a good grip on something, you'll be able to flip somebody over, but it just, nothing's really felt solidified right yet, and especially with the fight going top as well.
They're trying to chase down Ionit, is able to run away with the wind run right now. Swashbuckle, as to your point, ends up missing. Ionit though will still end up dead, because he got chased down by the rest of the lineup. So they still do get him. CSK is like, let me show you how it's done, boys. You mentioned a lot of skill shots missing. To be fair, CSK has missed very few spells. This Nyx Assassin, for the most part, unimpeachable performance from him, despite the fact that there's a lot of spells to miss. Very nice kick coming in from this Earth Spirit, but unfortunately he's going to fall very low. Pugna will die underneath the Global Silence and get popped defensively. Ranfu Dao bails his team out of trouble, enables them to clean up the two supports. And the only person that died was the Wind Ranger earlier on. Okay, very nice usages of Global so far. Two of them in a row that end up being very successful for Team Disillusion.
Yeah, Ranfu Dao has a lot of good globals that he's used so far. And Aaron, if that global didn't come in, he was dead. And him going down there would have been a big yikes for me. But he lives, stays alive, and they get extra kills. And they have heroes that want to snowball with a lot of kills, right? Like they've got a Wind Ranger, they've got a Void Spirit. They really love just getting in and getting these brawls and getting a lot of fights done. So the fact that they're relatively okay with how a lot of these fights are going, considering the Timbers game is really far behind. He's 3k behind a lot of the other cores. They're feeling good if you are the side of Team Disillusion, and especially now with Lonfer, he's got his Radiance up. He's a scary hero. He can farm up, become very, very scary where everybody else still fights. And Timber doesn't have Yules yet.
When I see a small skirmish breaking out here, nice little swashbuckle from Chosen One. Was trying to trigger out the Rolling Thunder. Aether Remnant will stop it from happening initially. Ranfu Dao going to be forced to have to commit his life for the cause here to enable the escapes from the rest of the lineup. At the same time though, Aaron and crew do pick off CSK. So support for support. I want to actually quickly talk about this Radiance for Lanfer. What do you make of it for this game? Do you think it's the correct option here?
I think it just gives him that extra bit of farming speed. They already have one Harpoon on the Void Spirit, and they've got 4 heroes that can play relatively fast. So him falling back and becoming a scary carry, I don't mind it. I would have been okay with either build. I think this way just gives him that little bit of extra AoE damage in a fight.
Top lane, dude, look at this. Morphling gets solo killed by Ionit. Gets caught with some low agi and just gets himself focus fired down. Like, this is not even a silence happening on top of his face. The silencer will end up dying, but who the hell cares what happens to silencer? Morphling is gone from the game. Limits just not necessarily finding the success with this hero that they thought they would just yet. Still struggling with the farm department. He's a solid 2.5k net worth behind this Abaddon, and a solid item at that point, because he has the Manta style, sure, but honestly, this Manta is more defensive than anything else. It's primarily going to be used to get him out of Global Silence. They're going on to Lanfer. Don't know about this one, y'all. They do get the borrowed time to be forced out, and his team is fairly far away, but there's going to be the Global Silence. Small KK and Aaron jump back in to assassinate the Pugna. Now the question is, can Limit escape from this area? Rolling Thunder is required from Chosen One to make sure that he gets out. Unfortunately, though, Pugna doesn't have such mobility spells. He gets left behind and killed off by small KK.
The one thing circling back to the Radiance that can be a bit of a detriment, I found I don't know if small KK can kill him. Your homie's coming.
He's gonna try though. He's forgotten him fairly low,
missed.
but there we go. Might as well
Maybe
start
if the,
triggering off.
Yeah, maybe if the Arcane Curse hit, they could have chased him down. But yeah, the Radiance, you can get procced with Spike Carapace is like the one glaring issue I've got with it for Lonfer, but you can just see the differences in how this game is going, right? All offensive items that are being built for Team Disillusion, all defensive items for Limit. And that's where it really puts them in a good spot with this Radiance to sit back and farm.
Unfoot out, gets himself picked off again. But in the grand scheme of things, not the biggest deal in the world. The bigger deal, though, is if they can get Chosen One and they do end up picking him up. That is a huge problem. Aaron misses the roll, but they should still have the damage to kill off CSK. Double kill for Ayanid. Even Lonfer showed up to lend some Radiance burn to that fight. 3 heroes gone. Dude, they're just going across the map for fun at this point on the side of Team Disillusion. Picking off hero after hero after hero. All 3 of their cores occupy the top spots in their net worth. And they shouldn't have a difficult time taking down these Tormentors as they spawn up right now.
Yeah, it's very dire times right now for Limit because looking across at the experience, basically every core role or every role is behind by 1 to 2 levels. So when the experience starts to balloon out like this, especially early on, you get access to your level 2 ultimates much faster than what the enemy team does. And as I alluded to a little bit beforehand, just defensive items is all Limit are going for, right? They've got a Lincoln Sphere and a Manta Style. They have to get a Manta Style on Chosen One. They're going to go for Glimmer Cape and Yules. They've got a Yules on the Nyx Assassin and a Yules on the Timber, so they don't even have the damage to come back into these fights either.
I'm honestly shocked that the Timber Sword didn't end up buying Lotus Orb and opted for the Yule Scepter instead this game. Speaking of Timber, ends up dead once more. Ionid opted not to go for the Diffusal Blade on his Wind Ranger. Went for the full Gleipnir Blink Dagger build. And so far, it's been working out quite spectacularly. Killing off core heroes for fun all by his lonesome. In the top lane, they might need him though, as they are pinging out onto Abaddon. They have the borrow time coming out. There's going to be the global silence. He doesn't have enough mana to TP out though here, Fluke, so he could still end up dead. CSK will find him with the Impale after the Vendetta hit. And Lonfer will indeed end up taking a tumble. For the want of a paltry 75 mana. And Abaddon ends up dead, forcing out the global silence in the process. Aaron might also be caught out here. Why is both teams chain feeding? What's going on? One person dies, the other heroes follow?
Yeah, I honestly thought that with the global silence and Lonfer popping the borrowed time, that we would have had more rotations. I thought Aaron might have put a little bit of extra haste in his step, but none of the cores moved. Small KK was farming mid and Ayanib was bottom. But they may get a consolation prize here on the Chosen One. They do. Can they get out?
Who's going to be involved in that? We'll see here. Ayanib doesn't have Wind Run anymore, so he's going to get right-click down. He did throw out the Eternal Chains on the Gleipnir and a decent enough Shackle Shot on the Manta Illusion, but it's not ultimately good enough. Ranfu Dao trying to escape, won't be allowed to do so. The Adapter Stripe stops him, CSK impales him up, but here comes Small KK, potentially looking for some revenge. He jumped directly onto the Morphling. Does he have enough damage to do this? And indeed he does. He makes it happen. A is gone. Yules into the air, onto the Nyx Assassin. CSK should end up dead here. And Small KK gets himself a double kill on the Void Spirit. Aaron rolling forward, reaching for somebody else in the middle of this fight. Glimmer Cape will be popped. I don't think this partner escapes here. He's trying his best with the TP attempt. Small KK says, no, I want that triple kill, baby. And you're gonna give it to me. As he brings down 3 on the Void Spirit, making this fight a lot better than it would have been for the side of Team Disillusion.
Yeah, that was a good rotation coming in from Small KK. Took him a little bit of time to get there. And they lost another member in Ranfudao as well as Ayanid, but this is the scary part about this Void Spirit, right? This is why we always talk about Magnus and Void Spirit. They are very, very scary heroes, and especially with the way that Universal Heroes work now, you just build good items for the game run. As long as you've got stats that are floating around, Harpoon, amazing for the damage, an amazing stat. You can go this Mage Slayer as well, because it doesn't matter what stats you get, you're still going to get the same amount of damage. And the thing is, you can just build whatever you need for the game. He understood that there's a lot of magic damage that comes out from the side of Limit. I'm just going to build a Mage Slayer. There's not that much damage that I have to worry about. And then he becomes even tankier because he's got the extra bit of magic resist and they do less damage to him. And then obviously the Harpoon just means he's able to close the gap against a lot of these heroes that don't like having them in their face. Pugna is one of those heroes that doesn't want to deal with it, but I'm going to try and kill Long Fur bottom.
We get to see yet again what you mentioned earlier, the Spike Carapace into the Radiance. Lunfer, though, still in pretty decent stead and still has borrowed time. They thought about committing the Rolling Thunder. They decide against it. Aaron, he jumped in instead, looking to try and kill off CSK. This next Assassin is very low. Spirit Vessel brings him lower, but it's not going to be enough to actually kill him. But it did bait in the Earth Spirit, so they do bring him down instead. Potentially a path to the Roshan pit opened up here, but the Morphling is not nearby, so they don't have his raw physical damage output. They won't be able to make any surprise shenanigans happen into the Roshan pit.
Yeah, the one thing for me is Team Disillusion does seem a little bit disconnected with each other. There's been multiple times where Aaron will go in to help with one of his cores and then nobody will really follow up. And it starts to get scary. And speaking of cores, A is dead.
We'll see what happens to him. Lincoln Sphere will protect him a little bit for now, but he's still running out of health. Eternal Chains will be out. He's forced to go into the Manta style. Waveform away. He's in the trees here. No way he gets out of this. Aether Remnant catches him at the very last second. And they do manage to bring him down so close. And the best part about it, they got to save their global silence, so they still have that for a follow-up fight. They need to be careful down bottom. Aaron, he's all alone in the forward part of the fight, though. So maybe they don't have to be so careful as to avoid him if he's by himself.
Yeah, that was go. Once again from Team Disillusion. It seems like they don't want to stop here on the pain train, and they're at least getting kills on the cores that matter, which is very important for them, right? Like, they're killing this Morphling off constantly. He's got Lincoln Sphere as well as a Manta Slayer. He's going to go into the Ag Scepter. Like, this Morphling is so far out of this game that he's not going to be an issue for a long time, and as long as Team Disillusion don't continue to throw their lead, they should be able to get through a lot of these defensive items. My one issue is they're not putting any emphasis on any of the objectives, right? They haven't looked towards Roche once. They haven't taken a Tormentor. They haven't even been aggressive to try and take some of these Wisdom runes. And Lonfo has to get bailed out once again.
Yeah.
Okay. He's
Should
okay.
Still be fine, though.
Just.
He's alright. He's cool, bro. He's fine. Look at him. Nice little chunky boy in the Abaddon. Not having any issues so far. Most of the problems are happening on the other side. CSK walking underneath the sentry. At this stage of the game, my friend, optimistic at best to be walking here, but at the very least does reveal that they do indeed have vision.
There's a lot of damage too from Small KK, who now has a Silver Edge completed, so they've got good ways of dealing with this Timbersaw, whether or not he has defensive items. So there are good ways of dealing with him. They are starting to come up on a few extra items. I believe, yeah, Manta Style completed now for Aeonid. They've got the Blink Dagger already completed on Lonfer, so this is probably their kind of go button, right? Like, they've got one or two defensive items on all of their cores, they've got their offensive items, and they know they deal enough damage to be able to deal with these heroes. Because, like, look, Timber got half HP in the mid lane. He's a Timbersaw, by the way.
Yeah, Timber really just has been having a rough game all throughout this. We'll get a little bit of gold potentially on the Pugna as he goes in for the fight. They kill off Aaron. Pugna will also end up dead though. Ranfuda won't be able to escape as he also will end up taking a tumble. Both supports on the side of Disillusion making a very big adventure on the map, and unfortunately they get into a little spot of bother. This is a chapter where you come across demons. Get sent back to the fountain. Definitely not worth it. And the thing for me, you know, you were mentioning earlier that it feels like Disillusion is not necessarily playing cohesively. The communication is not 100% crisp. It's buying so much time for this Morphling. Morph, definitely a hero that is much slower than he used to be. Gets off to the races slower. Small KK, as he just quickly kills off Timbersaw. Bye-bye again, my friend. But all these little pickoffs, it's buying time. Morphling, yes, he's not that much net worth right now, but eventually he'll get there. Let's see if he can kill off Ironid. Doesn't seem like it just yet. Now he actually has to be the one to run away. Ironid has already committed the Eternal Chains, so no threat to be able to levy against the Morphling anymore.
Yeah, it just seems like they're I don't want to say they're disrespecting Limit, but they're definitely not playing as crisp as they should when it comes to the way that they're moving around the map, right? Like, both of their supports were going together. They popped a Global Silence to kill a Pugna. like as a 6,000 gold Pugner. You know, like he's really not worth global silence, especially when Roshan's up. And the way that Lonfer's playing as well, he's almost died like 5 or 6 times in the last like 10 minutes. He's in a bad, and so he's generally okay, but they're just not grouping up as this big ball, and I think they can really kind of close the game out if they just go as 5. Now Aaron's caught again.
Yeah, Aaron will be hit with the Rolling Thunder. Does manage to Rolling Boulder away. Ranfu Dao definitely not going to be as lucky. Even Aaron might still get caught out here. Chosen looking for the swashbuckle, will end up missing, but the Yule Scepter from CSK going to be good. It interrupts the Rolling Boulder and sets up for the Impale. So that's one death. Lanfer back into the fight right now. He doesn't have borrowed time though. Lanfer?
Oh, no.
Lanfer? Oh my god, he gets Pugner life drained to death. Fluke, what's going on? Disillusion are falling apart right now.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of trolling. They're just really disconnected with each other. Lonfer popping his borrowed time in the bottom lane. He doesn't have the HP to go in and fight. Aaron and Ranfu Dao go in. Small KK doesn't have a TP, so he can't even come towards the fight. Aeonid's really slow, and it's just like, you're so disjointed that if it wasn't 10, 11, 12,000 gold like they had right now, I would be tipping limit to be able to win this. They're just so far ahead when it comes to the net worth that they may even get a free kill into A top, but they need to start playing like they're 2,000 gold ahead, not 12,000 gold ahead.
Yeah. Global Silence will be popped here in the bottom lane. Ionid gets a very nice shackle shot, which interrupts the Timber Chain. Otherwise, he probably would have died. Aaron trying to bring down this Pugner. Has a Spirit Vessel out on top of him with some damage coming in from the Magnetize. Chases him with the Rolling Boulder, and they should be able to kill him off. Question is, what more can they grab for themselves? Timbersaw not going to be able to escape, it doesn't seem like. A couple of right clicks with the Spirit Vessel out. Do they have the damage? They do. It'll grant a double to the Earth Spirit. Now with no Timber, Nyx Assassin is looking like a very juicy target for a potential triple kill. And as he goes back in, Aaron will accomplish it for himself. Gets a young triple. Big magic happening on the bottom side of this map for this Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, and then sometimes they just do that, where, we talked about them being disconnected and then the supports get a triple kill off a rotation. And that kind of just circles back to the fact they're so much further ahead when it comes to net worth. This Timbersaw doesn't have a good time. The Pugner doesn't have a good time. The Assassin doesn't have a good time. So they are still definitely well ahead, but I feel like if they just kind of played as a crew, if they just got behind Lonfer, who has, Blink Manta style, he's getting close to a Skadi. Maybe that's what they're waiting on. They're just waiting on this final Skadi. Small KK is a monster as well. He's got Skadi in 200 gold. Like, they have everything available to them, but they're just not taking the important parts of the map. They're having these little scuffles of a few creep waves. They're putting a little pressure back on A, but they're not killing him now because he's gotten to a tanky point. And slowly, if this game starts getting scary, I can see the Morphling starting to take over. But I think for me, Morphling versus the world may not be the trump card that Limit hopes it is, especially against the heroes that we've got here for Team Disillusion.
We'll see what Morphling is able to get accomplished. He's sitting next to a Wisdom Rune here, so somebody should come take it. Earlier, when Small KK was there, I thought he was going to try and steal it away from him. Ended up going for the assassination attempt instead. Still just farming away on this Void Spirit. Looking for a Lincoln Sphere next. He gets stalled up by CSK, but nobody's nearby to help him. On the other side of the map, Aaron, though, might have help for this Pugner, and indeed he will. Ionid and crew are here. That's a kill. Ranfu Dao getting quite a lot of int on top of that. And Lanfer does, oh my god. Okay, he does have Blink. He almost had his Blink disabled by the Morphling, but he was able to juke him out. And funnily enough for him, the Radius came in clutch. Made sure that one of the attacks from the Morphling missed, so the Blink came back and he was able to escape.
Yeah, just in time. And Small KK can't be up on the bottom side of this map, gets another kill. He's a very tanky boy. I don't think Small KK is going to die for the rest of the game. Honestly, he's going to be very hard to deal with unless he messes up really, really bad. So, yeah, Team Disillusion, they've at least taken some of these tier 2 towers. They've got one left remaining, and they're really stunting the growth of Limit. Well, starting to build to their own late game items. You see that the Pango has been found.
He has indeed been found. He has, but the thing is, he has to wait with the Manta for the global. And they pop the global anyway, right after the Manta style comes. So they kill him off, prevent him finishing off his Skadi. Mid lane, they almost killed Timbersaw. He does just barely manage to skirt away. Dude, if they'd gotten 2 core kills during one global silence on 2 separate parts of the map, that would have been mind-blowingly good for the side of Disillusion.
Yeah, it would have been huge for them, especially because it seems like they're still just waiting on a few items. Like Lonfer has relegated himself into the jungle. They're not really pushing into the top side of the map. They don't want to try and focus towards Roshan. They're not going for a smoke gang onto A, so seems like they want to just wait until Skadi plus Basher and maybe these other heroes can do some special stuff, because Small KK, he's a man on the mission and he has been hunting the entirety of Limit, and maybe gets another kill here on the Timber.
I'm gonna try and make it happen right now. Aether Remnant back. Should be able to easily make it happen. My God, dude. Small KK is... All right, I'm calling it right now. No matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, let's just give this man the MVP. He is owning right now on this Void Spirit. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it feels like a pub game, right? Like, carries back farming creeps. The mid laners just doing mid laner stuff, killing a lot of people. Forcing out a lot of these lanes. The enemy team is probably bickering at this point, just hoping that their Morphling is going to carry them, and it's just slowly grinding to a game where there will be a point where one of these two teams will fight over an objective, i.e. Roche, and there could potentially be a big team fight where it can swing one way or another, right? Like if Limit come in and win a team fight off the back of their Pangolier being big, maybe Morphling gets 1 or 2 kills and a team fight stays alive, then this game can slowly start to shift where it eventually can feel like Void Spirit versus the world. And unfortunately for Void Spirit, I don't think he outcarries a Pango and a Morphling. But he does have some friends around him to at least try and alleviate that pressure for now.
This game, a very bizarre set of affairs. It's an 18k gold lead in favor of Team Disillusion, but it's nonetheless ground now to a halt. Doesn't feel like they're making much progress on the map. As I mentioned, it gives time towards the Morphling. He's about to finish off an MKB. Dude, if they could get this kill, but the Morphling will not be able to get it. CSK already been scouted out with the Sentry. Small KK. Well, in retrospect, like you mentioned, he's so tanky, even if they did catch him. 3.7k HP, probably doesn't die there. Should be able to get himself out.
Yeah, especially with the low duration stuns they have, right? Like they'd have to try and kill him in an impale duration, and I think Morphling would probably need like 2 rapiers to do that, and even then, I don't imagine it's going to happen. He's got 22 armor, he's got Dissimulate, he's got Astral Step, he's got Shadow Blade to deal with as well, so there's a lot that's going on. Finally, we've seen Team Dissolution go into the Roche pit.
Hey.
So we will be seeing an objective killed this game. And it goes so... The thing is, for me, is they kill Roche so gosh damn fast. Like, they focus fire it, and then Abaddon comes in with Curse of Avernus, and they melt Roche, but they just didn't do it for the longest time, and now they've got an Aegis. They can set their attentions towards the top side of the map. And Ramfu Dao, oh, that was a spicy TP. So they just leave top.
Indeed. Yeah. They've got the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. CSK will miss his impale onto Lanfer. And they just get out. So they end up losing their tier 2 tower down bottom. They will not be able to apply pressure top because the rest of the team left. Small KK is like all by his lonesome top. He's like, team, boys? Where is everybody? His team is fighting right now. They're going onto the Morphling potentially. Lanfer blinking in onto the Morph. He has an Aegis in tow. But this Morphling is still a very dangerous hero right now. With the higher Skadi, having the MKB just newly picked up.
God.
Small KK will find and kill the next assassin on the other side of the map, but honestly, if I'm Limit, I'm looking at the situation. We lost a Roshan, but we still got a tower. We got a kill. Yeah, who cares? It's fine. We've got some real estate. That matters more.
Yeah, it's all about making sure Morphling and Pango are the ones that are getting all the gold, right? Like, I think Timber at this point is just going to try and be a distraction for a long time. Maybe build into the BKB. Aghanim Scepter wouldn't be bad as well. Like, he just needs to soak damage for the Pango and the Morphling to deal the damage. And that's why, like, it's getting to the point where Pango's hard to kill. He's got 3.7k HP. He's got a full Skadi, so he does a lot of damage. And he also is very, very hard to kill. And that just gives them enough time that if you set your attention on the Pango, maybe, you know, you commit a few too many spells, try and kill him, you don't get the kill. Morphling then is able to freely play around his Mantis and play around the damage that he can do. And so Limit can start to claw their way back into this game. It is a very hard task. They're 21,000 gold behind at 37 minutes into the game. There's a lot of experience that's going against them too. They don't really have the damage items to kill some of these heroes. But, you know, I can see a future if we ever do get a team fight in this game, that it could be definitely going the way of Limit if they play well.
Year of optimism. We're not getting any team fights. This game, never again, man. We've seen every team fight this game we're ever going to have to offer. We might have pickoffs, though, as Ionid will find himself getting ran into. His team did find a quick kill onto the Pugner, and they forced Ranfu down to pop the global. He even uses BKB to ensure he doesn't die here. Now he blinks back towards the next assassin. Found the Eternal Chains with the Shackle Shot as well. CSK will use into the air, but with Aaron being nearby, they should be able to mop him up regardless, as both supports have been removed from play. What? Aaron, dude, relax. What a roll. Catches Morphling, but Morphling as well, much higher agi than he had any right to be, given his position in this game. They punish him uber hard here, Fluke, and they should be able to get quite a lot off the map whilst he's in the grave.
Yeah, the way both these teams are playing the map is really weird for me to watch. Like, Lonfer is just permanently in this bottom side. He's just kind of chilling. Doesn't want to fight anybody. He wants to try and take buildings, and they at least get the tier 3 tower. The kill on the Morphling, I think, was the big one. A definitely overstepping his bounds. He had no idea where the Void Spirit was, and he didn't know that Ranfu as well as Aaron were close, and the rest of his team were fighting the Abaddon.
Well, they might need him to buy back in the situation as they lose a lane of racks. Yules up onto the Timber. Lonfer thought about aggressing onto him for a second, but prioritizing the real estate. To get the lane of racks down bottom at the same time, they're aggressing into the Pangolier on the other side of the map. Small KK, is he going to end up solo killing Chosen One? He will. Small KK really is on one this game. Like a boss, dude. 18-1-6, beyond godlike streak on the Void Spirit. Has a full Bloodthorn in his inventory and queued up a freaking Rapier on this hero.
Well, as I said, I don't think he's going to die, man. So, I mean, Rapier is the best way to go. And yeah, the Bloodthorn is a huge pickup, and Chosen One just misusing the Manta style. And now, slowly but surely, the rest of Team Disillusion should be able to close out the rest of this game, because Limit, they haven't been able to have a team fight or even a way of coming back into this game. And Team Disillusion are finally gone, okay, guys, it's been 40 minutes. Maybe we should finish game 1.
Possibly.
Possible.
Well, A will delay it a little bit longer as they kill off Ranfu down. Lonfer, though, looking for CSK. Actually already forced a power borrow time. A lot of damage coming from the Morphling, but he has to watch himself in this fight. Still trying to throw in these right clicks as the rest of his crew is getting taken down by Aaron. But look at this, Lonfer will end up dead to this Morphling. Ionid, he's right next to the Morphling. Beautiful Shackle Shot, allowing Aaron to jump in, get off the next degree of stun. And they finish off this Morphling. A double kill for the Void Spirit. He's up to 21-7 right now. They forced a buyback out of the Morphling, knowing that they're going to have to defend this high ground. And I think Team Disillusion, not much is dissuading them from going up the hill here, but they're going to play this as carefully as possible. Maybe even waiting for the next Roshan. I say that, nah. They were just waiting for Small KK. They want him to finish his Divine Rapier. Wait for Morphling. Oh no, Morphling! That's not the way for, my friend. You just fought back. All right, that's it. GG, well played. Yeah. It's over, it's done. Small KK wants a couple of more kills on the way out, though. Chosen One trying to delay things with the Rolling Thunder. It's not really going to matter all that much, though, as they jump back in. Ionid looking towards the Timber Saw. They're going right on top of him. He uses into the air. It's not really going to matter, though, as once he comes down, his life is forfeit. They take him out. He does have buyback, though, if they want to trigger it. Small KK, in the meantime, just going to finish off the Chosen One, who does not have buyback of his own. And with 2 big cores without buyback, 2 lanes of racks completely being decimated, and a base in shambles, I think it's time to look towards game 2 here, Fluke. Team Disillusion, I think, have probably done it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did it about 20 minutes ago, but now they're officially going to be able to do it. And Small KK, what a good performance from him on the Void Spirit. When you get these OP heroes in the patch, I really look towards the good players to be able to make it look OP, right? Like, you can play Void Spirit and it can look good, and you can be, okay, yeah, this hero looks pretty good, right?